And it was like this mental fragmentation. That's the best way I can describe it. I could not think a coherent thought. It was like, I don't know what it feels like to lose your mind, but that I felt like I was losing mine. And it was, I literally woke up like out of my sleep. And it was just like, and so my wife was like, what's going on? And I didn't know what had happened. I thought I had heard of nervous breakdowns and mental breakdowns. That's what I thought I was having. And then obviously, we went to kind of figure out what was happening and to see somebody. And it was like, you had a panic attack. But it was a result, long story short, it was a result of overextension and overcommitment. I think I was in like 2 building projects at the time. I was finishing doctoral work and I was writing my first book, Represent Jesus. I'm up against deadlines like that. And at that, anytime anybody's calling to speak, I'm showing up, meeting with people, counseling people, et cetera.
You're exhausted.
Just tapped out. And so when I had that experience, the next week I knew I had to do 2 things. One, I was like, I need a counselor to deal with my past. I need a coach to deal with my future. Those are 2 people I did not have in my life at that time that I know I needed. And so when I started working with this coach, there's this guy named Josh Kahn. And what I found was prior to my time with Josh, I was living right. I was doing everything they teach you to do in church. I still had that anxiety attack. Loving my wife, raising my kids, trying to manage my all responsibilities, faith. I was doing all the stuff they teach you in church. But I didn't learn boundary setting in church. I didn't know anything about messianic complex in church. I didn't know how to create an ideal week, like how to live with a rhythm. God, 6 days on, 1 day off, assigning certain tasks to certain days of the week. God did this on first day, second day, this on third day, this on the fourth day. I didn't know any of that. So I was living right, like morally, but not well. And so it was the coach who taught me how to live well. And then I feel like when I started living well, I started seeing other stuff in the Bible, like wisdom literature. It's like, hey, there is some morality in these books, but the purpose of these books, the wisdom literature section of the Bible, is to impart wisdom to the godly. So we're not just living right, we're living well. And living well, which includes living right, now I think like increases our evangelistic attractiveness. You know what I mean? Like, come be like me. What? Your life's falling apart. I'm stressed out. I don't have time for my kids. It's like, that doesn't sound like John 10:10 to me. So it was a coach who was a Christian who helped me step into closer to the John 10:10 life. And so the same thing that happened with me with Keith Quinn with speaking, that's what happened with me with Josh Kahn. I was like after a year working with him, it was like, what he just did for me, I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing for other people. So that's literally how I ended up in the coaching space.
You just brought up something I think is really helpful, practically helpful. When we first started the church, I labeled every day: meeting Monday, tackle Tuesday, wrap up Wednesday, think a lot Thursday, free Friday, semi-slow Saturday, slam Sunday.
Give it to me. Text that to me.
Right? But in many ways, it still is sort of the framework. I think that stuff's adjusted. And even as we're talking right now, I'm going, all right, in this new season, I want to redefine my days. And not just redefine my days. I want to help redefine the team around me, their days. There still is I would say it's still 60% that framework. What are some of the things that you do on your? Can you tell us some of that? Yeah. I don't know if you've labeled it like that, but maybe just walk us through your week, because you are producing a lot. And even as you and I were talking, you were saying, I'm kind of actually taking a break for a moment, just sitting in Miami, trying to get 2 days, just trying to get out of some brain fog a little bit. I was kind of stuck mentally, which happens, I think, that people don't realize.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to retreat in order to return, and we have to just stop in order to produce again.
Yeah.
But maybe just talk through the days of your week on a typical week.
Yeah, that's one of the first things that Josh did with me is kind of, hey, let's establish, first of all, your core values, and then from your core values, we'll establish an ideal week. Because if not, you're going to have a week that's organized but not aligned with your values. Like, my week is organized, but yeah, you still don't have a week that's aligned with your actual priorities. So for me right now, it changes. Sometimes when I say seasons, that means it could change twice in a year, bro.
Yep. Of course.
Like, it doesn't mean 3 years.
Yep.
So like, here's my rhythm right now.
Yep. Yep.
So Monday is my Sabbath.
Okay.
Right. So I'm gonna kind of probably Sunday night to Tuesday morning. I'm doing nothing that feels like work. So that's Monday. Tuesday is Tactical and Touch Tuesday. So those are gonna be the days where I'm having, that day is loaded with meetings. The first part of the day is loaded with meetings on the church side. The latter part of the day is dedicated to meetings and running a program on the business side. Wednesday is Writing Wednesday. So that day is dedicated primarily to writing. I'm writing sermons and I'm writing content for some of the programs that I do on the coaching side. Thursday is kind of twofold. So the first part of the day is primarily dedicated to soul care. So I have to have a time in my day on Thursday where I work through what I call a soul care strategy that I created. So I take my core values, whatever they are, and I rank myself the previous week from 1 to 10 on how I feel like my life was aligned with them. So let's just say faith is 1. What I'm going to do is say, okay, this over the past 7 days, where am I in terms of the stuff that I've committed to strengthen my faith? How are my spiritual disciplines? Did I do the daily office? Those kind of things, right? So I've carved out probably about half an hour to an hour on Thursdays for that. Then there's another hour for time with my coaches. I've got a couple. So time with my coaches, or if I need to get in a session with a counselor, that's during that time frame. Then the latter few hours of the day are days where I can take meetings, but these are work. Tuesdays work in it, Thursdays work on it.
Very good language.
Yep. So
Just talking about this the other day.
Yep. So those are the days where it's going to be a little bit different. I don't want to be meeting about anything that doesn't move the needle. So Tuesday's maintenance, I don't mind that. Thursday has to be movement. When I walk out of a meeting on Thursday, we move something. So that's Thursday. And then Friday is Filming Friday. And that's the day that whatever filming I need to do, I'm going to do that. So if that's Bible studies, if that's stuff for the programs, if that's stuff that the church needs, stuff that the business needs, it's going to be on that day. And Saturdays is kind of like yours. It's semi-slow. There may be a time or two where we may have an event or something along those lines, but it's going to be semi-slow. One of the things I tried to do a while ago is once I realized like, yo, my kids are, especially when they were younger, they're out of school on Saturday. They're free. I'm gonna be free too.
Yep.
So I still kind of keep that rhythm a little bit. So
Good.
it could be pickleball, video games.
Oh, you don't want pickleball, bro.
Golf. I just got played it like one time.
Yeah.
And I got hooked. Now I got shoes, paddles,
I don't know,
everything.
man. We're in Miami for a couple of days. You don't want this. I want to maintain friendship. Bro.
So literally, that's
What time do you go to bed on Saturday nights?
Rich, you don't want to know.
I want to know.
It's like, you know how some people, I got to get in bed early because I got to.
Yeah.
I'm not like that.
It's just loose.
It's loose. It's like
2 a.m?
It could be, unfortunately.
Like you watching a movie till 2 a.m?
Yes. We talking about this on the podcast.
It's
like,
perfect.
Yeah, it's like, you know, of course I pray, but I'm not just like up Saturday night
saying, you're not
praying.
nervous.
No. I'm watching games. It's not always 2 a.m, but it's just like.
I'm saying it's loose. It's
very
not some
loose.
disciplined.
It's very loose.
I have to be in bed before the sun goes down.
It's very loose.
Yeah.